right, guys, thank you for joining us again for another episode of Passenger Seat. We are doing it. Still don't know how to intro this properly. We're still getting everything used to this. But I have a really special guest today on here. This is, I guess, former boss now is what I can call you. Sonny
we
from...
fired him.
I'm fired. From Tac City Airsoft. And if you guys don't notice, behind us, we're actually in the dead box right now at Tac City.
Can they see anything?
Yeah, they can probably make out a little bit of the bunkers back there. And it's been an interesting journey for me the past almost 3 years working here. And I thought it'd be really cool to have you on because if people who are watching this don't know, you and me have done just about 100 episodes of different productions already.
Well, more than that.
Well,
combined everything.
Yeah, combined, because we've had Speed QB, we've had Tac City Unfiltered, and we'd have Tac City Live.
Live went how many episodes?
We went 107.
Yeah.
I just know you didn't make all 107.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
I was forced on every 107.
Yeah. I think I did like 100 of them.
You've done pretty close, yeah, because I know you. It was funny because we had the conversation. You're like, I don't want to do it. I'll you guys figure. And then all of a sudden, you were the guest regularly.
We didn't have a guest, like, oh, crap.
Yeah,
So,
and then you were the guest, and then you were the guest, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, I guess it's just you and my show kind of thing. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about how you got to this point in your life with airsoft.
Wow.
Because yeah, it's a little different.
It's like saying, "What's the secret of life?"
Yeah, well, I mean, I not to sound all cheesy, but you have been a mentor these past couple years for me, and it has been one of those things where I mean, I guess because of your position, you can have a very negative effect on like a player, or not a player, but a worker. They might have a negative feeling after leaving here. Sure. I don't have that. I have definitely a respect for everything that's gone on here. And I've seen the good and bad from a lot of our employees that have come and gone from here. But I definitely look up to the way things are run here, and I think the way a lot of this stuff is, you are I think the most successful airsoft field owner in the United States.
That could be debatable.
I mean, it could be. But I don't know, just because of me being on the behind the scenes of some of the stuff and things that we've got going on here, knowing how far Tac City's name actually reaches.
Yeah, it kind of still surprises me at times.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a shock, but a little bit for people who don't know who you are, who are watching this for the first time. How did airsoft come to be for you?
Well, the first time I ever heard the word airsoft, or was even aware what airsoft, at least I don't want to say aware of what it was, because it takes so many different forms, but just hearing the word airsoft and knowing what an airsoft gun was, all right, was ironically enough playing paintball. I used to run Warped Paintball up in Castaic. Yeah, Glenn Forrest, the owner who owns it, that, and also Warped Ops in Castaic. I used to run his field for him, and at the booth, every so often we get people come up there and ask us about, hey, do you guys play airsoft here?
Yeah, because all us airsofters sound like that. Yeah,
exactly. I only do one impression. That's it. In my mind, that's what they sound like. So that's why I went to that voice. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Charlie Brown. Mine is like, you play airsoft? But being a hardcore paintballer, I kind of knew the word at that point, but as I always thought of the little plastic BBs, you see, like float. You know, you get at Walmart and the little .12 BBs floating around with a little, in my mind, they were like on the level of squirt guns. Yeah. Right. I mean, they were where I first started with it was in my backyard with ones you got from Ice Cream Man. That's ironically enough. Yeah. In crazy California, where they were trying to regulate airsoft guns to. Yeah. Hey, how about we start here? Don't let Ice Cream Man
sell airsoft guns?
Anything with a trigger. How about that?
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's when I first got exposed to it, kind of like on a negative vibe, I guess, because I kind of look down on it. Get away from me.
I know there's always been that kind of thing back and forth with paintballers and airsofters, and that's always been that stigma, and I think it's changing more.
But at that point, I didn't realize any of that.
Yeah.
It's just all I knew is what I knew as far as the little plastic guns that have these floating around. Because I know a lot of times at some of the other fields I ran, paintball, in the parking lot, something to clean the parking lot, we see these little plastic beads. What the hell is that? And guy would tell, oh yeah, those are airsoft guns. What the hell is airsoft?
Yeah.
They shoot these little plastic beads, and I'm like, why? Like, what's... Again, I think of them like Nerf or water guns.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a hardcore paintballer. I travel around the world and do this and whatever, and get away from me, right?
Yeah.
But then a friend of mine kind of showed me, I think it was like a JG full metal body M4, probably a cheap gun at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. And we have these conversations even to this day when someone comes into the showroom and they have kind of the same perception of what airsoft is. And I always try to find like a HK 416 or something and put it in their hands, like hear their reaction. Whoa.
And they go, whoa.
And I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I've given it to Navy SEALs to hold for the first time, whatever. Yeah. They all have the reaction like shock.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. The SEALs normally would say something like, this is just like my what I used to carry.
That's and I get people all the time, like with some of the ones that I have, they're like, oh, this is heavier than my real one. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's actually got all these things. I'm using a real flashlight from like Surefire or Streamlight. I'm using all these like real red dots that are costing me hundreds of dollars.
The stock is upgraded.
And I'm Magpul parts on a lot of my stuff, and I'm like,
other than the weight of an actual ammo in the mag, it's pretty legit.
And then they're like, oh man, and then they play, and then it's that for me, it's always a shit-eating grin on my face because I'm having so much fun on the field. No matter what it is, it's that whole kind of thing. I was just out here on Sunday for kind of my last hurrah to play here, and we had a couple friends down, and friends that actually, like a good friend who I met through playing here, and he came in from Australia, and the first week he was here, he played airsoft in Israel, and so he came here, and he's like, oh, I need something to do, and we just happened to like sit at the same table, and then I shot him on the field, and then we became friends.
That's usually happens. You get shot by somebody, and vice versa. And that's how you become friends.
Yeah, and
or
so
enemies, but
it's a weird sport because we make the joke. It's like, oh, airsoft, that, but the community. And
we was talking. To this day, a lot of the old timers talk. Who came up with the name? Can we come up with a different name?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so it's one of those things where I appreciate the sport and everything that it's kind of created for me, just discovering it so late in my life. Like if I discovered it maybe younger, I don't know if I would have the same like enthusiasm. That's the wrong word.
Enthusiasm?
Yeah, I guess for it. Because I could see where, like, because again, here at the field, we have players that start at like 12 years old, and by 15, 16, they're bored or over it, or they're growing up and changing their perspectives, and they do stupid things, and then like that's the end of it for them. But for me, being an older person discovering it, I think it's been something a little bit more. I can appreciate all the nuances that airsoft offers.
So let me ask you this. And you don't work for me, so you can't.
I can say whatever I want. Okay. Yeah. Well, I haven't picked up my last check, so maybe I'll tread lightly.
So imagine your first time playing. Was your first time playing here?
Yeah, my first time was playing here.
Imagine if your first time playing was at. Should I even mention names?
It's up to you. I mean, I don't know.
Say.
A competitive sport. I can understand
another indoor in the area. That starts with the letter N and ends with the number 1.
I wish
I'm
I was
joking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
so imagine if that was your first time.
I have
knowing what you know of that field.
From what I have read about all the fields, because before I even when I started playing here, I saw so many negative reviews of the teams that were running this place and the favoritism that they had.
And that's fine because every field gets those, but
I'm hearing the same thing happening again with those same teams. They've changed locations, and it's one of those situations where I have players that are coming to us and with kind of like, oh, this and this. I'm like, wow, that really sucks. But I was a little hesitant to come here.
Sure.
I still remember it. Paulina was the referee that chronoed me, and she even got me on the field. and I ran out onto the field, and I think I've mentioned this on some of our other shows, but I shot at my own teammate, and I shot about 6 feet above his head because I panicked. And the guy's, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Somebody you want to shoot at.
I'm like,
that's what people do. That's normal.
That's how, and so, but I still remember that day, and I still enjoyed that day so much that I came back because the people here were very welcoming and forgiving of being a noob on the field.
It should be expected. But if you're playing 3 years later, yeah, it's not expected anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I still do it, but but it's one of those things where I don't know if the community at those other parks, and there's a few of these other parks, I don't know if I would be accepted the same way I was accepted here. And I think that goes to say, whether it's the people you hire or the way you run things or how stuff is kind of managed or what's expected of you, it is definitely a different vibe, because working here and seeing the different people that come through, and you're a public business. That's one of the things actually I was going to get into, because me and you are definitely of an older generation. We didn't start up on social media. We weren't paying attention. So what people say to us doesn't really affect us, kind of thing. What people they can talk as much shit that they want to talk, and that doesn't affect us. But some of these younger kids, as someone says something online,
everything matters.
Everything matters. But I lost my train of thought there. But it is one of those things where, being in the public eye, I know like the negative that we get sometimes here, but I also see the 200 plus people on a weekend playing here, and majority of them, I will say there'll be a couple that are gonna go off, oh, this is awful, they didn't call a hit. But the majority of people who come through have the time of their life. I feel comfortable bringing my niece, not my niece, my cousin, my girlfriend, friends who have never played airsoft. I think I've had 3 private parties here now with friends and family from all ages. People, and the funnest thing is we all walk away from here telling war stories of shooting each other.
And that's the business I'm in.
Yeah.
And that's right there. That's what that's for me. That's the juice. That's the gold right there. That's having that feeling, right? And that's also how you can, like, for instance, like we deal with a lot of stores in the local area, on the national level, local level, whatnot, and they feel comfortable sending their customers here because, for a first time or whatnot, because they want us to represent airsoft to them, so that if they have a good time, they'll come back and buy something at their store. So they wouldn't do that if they didn't feel the same way you felt. And I always judge how quote-unquote successful we are based on how often I hear that story, more so than, oh, this place sucks because I waited 5 extra minutes, or I shoot everybody and nobody calls their hits.
I have friends, and I've played at other parks.
People have, Disneyland gets negative reviews, right?
Yes,
so the bigger you get, obviously there's going to be a percentage of. But I always tell people with reviews and all that stuff, take it with a grain of salt. Don't even take the word of somebody give me a 5-star and saying it's the greatest place on earth, blah, blah, blah. Don't even take their word for it. It's just a review. Find out for yourself. Right?
I think even when I reviewed this place before I worked here, I think I gave it 4 stars because there were still things that you go, okay, if you're not aware of this and this and this, you might not have a good time. And that's the thing. And when on the review I wrote, it was there's those things. But even that, the biggest thing I think that people in airsoft, and I'm talking to all you guys, and I know for you guys who are watching this and don't know anything about airsoft, if you guys do go out and play, if you guys do go out and play at an airsoft field locally, just go to have fun. Leave your egos at home. There's no reason, like,
be open to the possibilities.
Like, you have to realize you're running around in a warehouse with toy guns shooting each other,
little pieces
playing
of
a game
plastic.
of tag. Exactly. And if you guys can't have to take that so seriously that you get so upset and so frustrated and everything, maybe you should not be playing this sport.
Or should be around the public.
In any venue. That could be, because,
or driving a car, operating heavy machinery.
The amount of, like, for me, you know me up in the tech department, the amount of people I come up here, how do I make my gun better? How do I do this? How do I... And I go,
compete.
Maybe do training first. Maybe actually learn how to shoot your gun. Maybe actually, like, know what you're hitting, because I will guarantee that your gun is shooting just fine. and you are just
well, it's just like in the road gun world. I mean, like for instance, Glocks are real popular, right?
Yeah.
So first thing guys want to do, they want to stipple this, they want to do this, they want to buy this and whatever. You know, maybe. How about just get better with the gun? If anything out of the box, you want to upgrade somewhere, maybe the sights. Other than that, just get better.
Yeah.
That's before you start putting all this money into something you still can't hit the side of the board, no matter how it looks or all the latest toys on it.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter in the middle of the night if you have an intruder or you have to engage with somebody. How it looks, or if you've got a Punisher skull on your grip. Or anodized colored accents everywhere.
Because the bad guy's going to see your grip and go, ooh, he's got a Punisher skull.
Yeah. You're going to shoot me with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Can I put that on Instagram? Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with all that stuff, but that's secondary to, you know what, just be proficient and deadly with the gun, a stock gun.
My real still stuff, there's very few accessories on the real gun stuff kind of thing. Most of it is stock.
I just have a flashlight.
Yeah. And you know what, I don't even have a flashlight on it. I changed the grips on my 1911. I have it on a flashlight
because it's on my bedside.
Yeah.
So it's more like, you know, if I go to the gun range, I take it off. But at home, middle of the night, I want to have flashlight.
TLRs for my airsoft guns before I bought them for
That's so funny.
Because I shoot those more. Yeah. But I actually changed the grips on my 1911 because my 1911 is a traditional without the rail on it. So I changed to these grips that actually have the rail mount on it so that I can put the flashlight on it. I just haven't mounted a flashlight on it yet. Eventually, my TLR will go on there with one of these cool colored lenses.
They'll probably California probably outlaw
railed guns, railed accessories,
railed pistols.
Yeah, right. That's coming up too. That whole gun debacle of the pistol registration that might be changing for you guys.
Well, here's a question.
Yeah,
I think we talked about this last time, but about the ammo that went into effect yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
So. My understanding, I can't remember if I had this discussion with you or somebody else, but my understanding, this is what I think I read this somewhere, and I could be totally wrong because I'm just regurgitating what I read and I didn't delve into. But on the surface, someone mentioned that basically, say I have a registered gun and I have a gun card and I want to go buy ammo, I have to pay $1, and they do a background check and I can get the ammo.
Yep.
Right. But also, if I don't have a gun card, I can pay $18.
Yeah, I think it's 19
or whatever, and still get the ammo.
Yes, but here's the thing: with that $19 charge that you're going to pay, it's up to a 10-day waiting period that you have to wait to buy the ammo.
Okay.
And then you only can buy the ammo that one time. Is from my understanding. So
are you limited to how much ammo?
You are not limited to how much ammo, but you let's say because as soon as you get approval,
so if that happens the one time, you can't go back again and get more ammo.
So
or is there a period of time to?
You have 30 days to purchase your ammo with that background check, and then
after you purchase it,
you have to do it all over again.
Okay, but you can still get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out.
Go ahead.
So so I'm a gun owner. I pay the $1. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but fine. All right. I have a bigger issue, right? Because you hear all the talking heads about, I think they had the State Credit Forum. They had a press conference last week, whatever, with Gassam and stupid ghost gun dealio or whatever.
Okay.
Mag clips or whatever the hell he says.
Yeah.
And they said, we figured out that, it's like, if what did he say? He said something, I don't think he said cars, but it's like saying, if cars do all damage, then we need to control the gas that fuels that engine. So bullets are the same thing to the gun, like try to make an analogy. And I'm thinking, okay, so the guy can't legally own a gun or doesn't. I can't say can't, but let's say he doesn't. But if he pays an extra charge, he can still get ammo for his illegal gun.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how does that fix the problem? You're just making more money for the state. That's all. It's a money grab.
That's all it is.
It's not controlling who gets. It really isn't not controlling who gets ammo.
No, not at all.
Everybody can still get ammo. It just puts the legal gun owners have to go through. I get it. It's another step, right? It's a pain in the ass to what end?
Yeah.
Right? If bullets, if they're trying to control who's got bullets, they're not controlling who gets bullets.
You know what it is? It's a good citizen tax. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because the good law-abiding citizens
they keep
are
it
the
in
ones
that. I just
getting
read
taxed.
this today that they were saying that there's, and I've heard this for years, but I guess another stat came out that I think there's over 20,000 people that are leaving the state. No, I think they said L.A. County and Orange County specifically, 20,000 more people left the state than came in.
Yeah. No, there is a decline. I mean,
and it's been going on for a while, but I guess it's growing.
That's
including
the thing.
That the U-Haul, the truck thing, like they're saying, going one way, it's like to say to Texas, it's like $1,400. Going one way is $1,400. Coming back is $100.
Jeez,
that's how big of a discrepancy.
How much of a discrepancy is? Well, it was. That's one of the things because one of the reasons you are going to be my former boss is because we are moving, and we have discussed this on the show. If you guys haven't seen this, when me and my girlfriend were on the show, but we're moving to Utah for the exact reason.
You have moved.
Well, we have. Yes, we actually signed the lease and everything, and so
I'm visiting right now.
I'm back to get the last of everything we have.
And then say "F you, California."
Yeah, and I'm really, and I'm trying to convince everyone I know to say, hey, you guys are doing it wrong. Like, you should join us, kind of thing. I get it. The weather out here can be nice sometimes.
We pay a weather tax basically. That's exactly everything.
It for everything. And so when we went down the numbers, and this is something me and my girlfriend, and actually now fiance,
I heard that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you see my comment?
Okay, I was like,
it's about time.
we saw the comment. I'm like the only one would do that. I think is Sonny.
It wasn't Marcia wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
nobody
I was like, I think
figured
it's
you
Sonny.
Figure that out. It's about damn time.
Yeah, that's still weird to say. But we've been trying to figure out, okay, do we stay in California? And then we ended up going, okay, well, what we can't afford is 2 hours away from any job that we already have. So do we find a job 2 hours away? Then what's the point of being 2 hours away?
What's the draw here?
Yeah.
What's keeping you here?
Family's great. Don't get me wrong,
but it's easy to visit.
It's very easy to visit. Technology nowadays has made it very easy to communicate and stuff. And then even then, if I'm 2 hours away from family, I'm not going to drive 2 hours to see them every week. That's not going to happen. I'm going to have.
So you still might as well go out of state.
Exactly. And I mean, if I'm going to drive, the reality is I can fly an hour and a half and I can see them much quicker.
Yeah,
I can force them to pick me up at the airport because they want to see me.
I'm here.
Hey, there you go.
He's back again.
Yeah, there he's back. God damn it, we got to go deal with traffic again and go to the airport and all. I'm like, hey, you guys wanted me here. That's, but that's the thing. And so a lot of the articles we've been reading has been Idaho, Utah, Texas. People are moving out to these places.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
I mean, other than, say, New York.
just driving out there when we did, we saw so much land that was like uninhabited, and we're like,
compared to here, it was a concrete jungle.
Yeah, and it's just continuing to build and build and build. And I mean, that's the one thing we miss so much. That like we love going out to the desert for motorcycle riding, shooting, camping, all.
You can find areas to do all that
out there.
The only thing they don't have is the beaches, the ocean beach. They have lakes.
They have lakes, and
they don't have the ocean, but that's okay, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, unless.
I mean, Salt Lake, it's a salt lake, like the salt ocean. I mean, not quite the same.
I can visit the ocean when I want to.
We're taking our paddle boards, we're taking our kayaks, we're taking all this stuff.
How much are you really giving up?
Yeah, we're not, and how much are we gaining?
Yes.
That's
exactly.
the thing that like we are looking at.
What's ironic is like back in the day, like hundreds of years ago, it was all about going west.
Yeah.
Getting to California. Where are you? I'm heading to California, gold or whatever it may be, and the sunshine, but right? Now it's like,
I mean,
there's a lot of people who don't know come in and then realize, oh my God.
Yeah.
They just see what they see in the media, motion pictures, whatever.
And that's the thing. Even motion pictures are changing too, because you have a background in motion pictures too. We haven't even got to that
countries. They're going to other and Georgia has a lot of film industry,
huge industries. And
they can fake California.
I mean, we fake all the other states all the time here. Yeah. Like the amount of times, it's funny because I'll watch a movie with my dad and he'll be like, oh, that's Long Beach Harbor, because they fish in Harbor all the time. He goes, oh, that's over by this area. All right, that's over by that area.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, but that's supposed to be Florida. Or, oh,
nobody
that's supposed to be Texas.
Unless you live there, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the funny part.
And not to mention, there's companies you buy, I forget what you call it, second unit footage.
Yeah.
Footage, from helicopters
like a stock
to whatever.
Photographer
and then,
kind of thing. Yeah.
The ocean and cut to a little film stage in Des Moines or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is a very interesting thing, and like it's a process. It's a scary process. It is a bummer because these last 2 weeks of like being here and leaving and then coming back and being here again, the amount of people and players that have been, and I'm like, oh shit, there's actually people who are gonna like miss me, kind of thing.
That's the way yesterday I asked about
weird.
the podcast.
Yeah,
like, hey, yes, it's. I said it's on hold.
Yeah, I mean we're on the hiatus with it,
Yeah.
but the last episode, well, when this will be going up sometime in the near future. I don't have an exact date for this because we have a few that are filming, but this will go after we are in Utah. This will be airing sometime out in that area. But our last podcast went up on July 1st of Tac City Unfiltered.
Yesterday.
And so yesterday, the time we're filming here,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it is, I mean, I am looking at all these different options to do what we've talked about, and there will be continued audio podcasts of that podcast as well. And the visual might come later down the road, depending on the success of the other one. But that's one of the things I've really appreciated about working here too, is because I came from a production studio that we were doing all kinds of stuff, and then I just played airsoft on the top, like, side. And then I got offered a position. I go, I don't have time for this. And then it was like, hey, I'm like, oh, well, I get discounts and I can play for free. Okay, how do I sign up for this? And then it turned into like, hey, you do this? Yeah. You do this? Yeah. You do that? Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Oh, now we've got a live show we're doing. Oh, now we're just streaming tournament play. Oh, hey, you want to do a pod?
Yeah, I tend to do that.
But I appreciate that the opportunity was given, kind of thing, and you took in kind of a risk, I guess you could say, with me to say like, oh, hey, let's see, because
it's in, you know what it is. We talked about, you know, the success of Tac City. I've never really looked at it, for me personally, success. My victories are kind of like the people I bring in. We've gone through a lot of different people, met a lot of people, staff and whatnot, and so I think that's the secret to TAC, is that we're always picking. Not always, I shouldn't say always, but a lot of time, more so than not, we find gems.
Yeah.
Right, and you were one of them, of course.
Appreciate that.
And they come and go, you know, because, you know.
Well, what I notice is, like, because we're, again, working here and behind the scenes.
Yeah, you get a little bit more insight than just even the normal staff.
Yeah, and because there's those little tiny things I go, who is this? And all of a sudden, oh, that's someone doing this, and we never see them here, kind of thing. And then you have those, like, and again, there's been discussions that we've had that I'm not going away in all sense. There's still going to be
you're offsite.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm still going to be in some way connected to this place because I've really taken a passion and drive and love for what this has done for me these past couple of years. The community that is airsoft, and I know this sounds very cheesy, but the majority of them are good people, and they want to just have fun.
I think we attract them too, because we get knocked for being how strict we are and this and that, but just like the staff, from my policies and the way when I started all this, how I wanted it to be run and the kind of customers and the environment that I wanted to create, there's a vetting with the customers as well to get what you just said. It's not just by accident. Yeah. And I can't say that every airsoft or most airsoft fields have that same majority. People can say that. Again, going back to what you said. Can any let's say evic.com or the Superstore here locally in LA, can they honestly say, and I'm not trying to get an answer for them, but can they honestly say that they would feel comfortable if they had a first time player to introduce them to airsoft, that they would feel comfortable taking them anywhere? Yeah. Other than maybe Tac City.
Where was their pick be?
Or just as good as Tac City. Or better.
I mean, we have players that
they can guarantee have a good. I'm not saying that these other fields they couldn't. There's not a chance they can't have a good experience, but the odds are that they're going to have a better shot of getting a good experience here than most fields.
Because I don't know if I went to an outdoor field first and played out there and if I would have felt the same way, because what I notice, and this is one of the things I've been to, is because the outdoor fields, a lot of the seating and a lot of stuff is kind of done by your car more than like they have like
and then
general.
When you're playing, you don't see too much.
Yeah,
you don't
in between games. There's not that, like, what happens here is you're forced to sit next to somebody. That's just the reality. You're forced to go, hey, do you mind, and like open that first conversation.
You can't avoid coming in the building and not having a conversation besides just the cashier.
I mean, exactly. I mean, and
you
our cashier
have to interact with people.
For the majority of times, we have Barbie, which she is an awesome person up front. She is the Tac City mom. I know
kind of the glue that holds it together up front.
And so she's very welcoming, and I kind of seen a mom figure at the front of the store makes you feel a little bit more comfortable leaving your kid here to get shot at. I mean, that's definitely, I think, one thing for a plus as well.
Yeah.
But because I've been to some of these other fields, and it's some burly guy with a beard or someone who goes, ooh, are you on a registered list of some sort? Do I have to be considered?
Don't worry about the waiver.
Yeah, you're fine. Don't
you look safe to me.
Because
I mean, we're joking, but we're not.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of. I mean, I've been to a lot of fields, and there's plenty of fields I want to get to, but it is still a thing where you go, I don't know if I feel safer. I mean,
I told this story when I visited Airsoft Playground and thinking about buying it.
Yeah.
I felt that way. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I've been in like crime scenes. I've had people. I mean, I've seen a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Right. My head was on a swivel just to go play airsoft in South El Monte at 7:00 at night in the middle of the week, right? The staff is wearing like the wife beaters.
Yeah.
They got hardcore rap music playing. There's smoke all on the steps to the front door. There's like 5 or 6 guys smoking and cussing up a storm. So I'm gonna drop off little Billy here for a few hours. He's in good hands.
He's in great hands.
I didn't even feel safe.
That's the crazy part too. Like here,
that got me hooked in airsoft. That bad experience. That bad experience.
Yeah.
See, everybody thinks that way. They would say, "I'm done. I'm out."
Yeah.
I looked at it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I knew. I think
that's one of the things that like we kind of have similarities is we can see through the rough. We can definitely see, and we can definitely like kind of go, you know what? We can definitely. There's opportunity here. Yes. There's kind of options because I don't know. My dad always puts it that like I can see things before they're done, and that's always been like an editing thing he always references
it's kind of creativity and also visionary.
Yeah,
to kind of see past what everybody else sees.
Every time I've walked into like a new place, a new studio, a new whatever, I've always gone like, okay, I can this and this, and I'm like and seeing this, I'm like, I know it's going to take effort. I know it's going to be.
I
long
do that when
hours.
I go in a different location. I got here. You should have saw this place when I first walked in there for the first time.
Yeah,
it reeked.
Yeah,
it reeked of mildew.
Oh man,
it had been vacant for like 5 years.
Oh, wow,
there were cobwebs everywhere and grease everywhere. Yet I was in my mind kind of like, okay, this would go here. I'm just looking at the layout. Come back here like, okay, I see this.
Yeah,
it's squared out. It's not,
For people who are unfamiliar with Tac City, it is in right next to airport. So this used
Regional
to be
airport.
old hangars. I don't know if they did buildings of stuff.
I don't know. That goes way back.
But it's definitely an older building. I have been up all the way to the roofs
maybe 50s,
and rafters of this place doing all kinds of different stuff, builds and different things. And then we have the railroad track right on the back here. So I can only imagine you've been in this building 10 years now?
Let's see, where are we? 7 years.
7 years. Yeah. Okay.
In this building.
In this building, because the Tac City, we always get this number confused when we do this. It's what we were up to 12 years, 13 years of Tac City.
2007.
So 12 years. That'd be 12 years. Okay. Yeah. And so every time we bring this up on the podcast of something, we always get these ones confused.
Because I'm trying to remember like when I first started. And then when I changed the name, I always kind of
and so you kind of break it down that way. But with this place, I mean, there's definitely, I mean, it works perfect for an airsoft field. A lot of other businesses, I don't know what would be the perfect fit for this place. Yeah. But as an airsoft field, it's great. It works fine. There's a lot of opportunities for different things. And what is crazy is, I wasn't here when you first opened. The airsoft was not on my radar at that time, but I've seen plenty of videos of this place where it is nothing like what it is. And even to me,
the Herculean effort of the staff I had at the time to get this place just just operational, just to open the doors in 30 days.
Yeah.
It was a feat into itself.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I have talked with guys who possibly want to do fields. I was like, just open first, and it doesn't have to be Disneyland day one.
Yeah.
Be operational and become Disneyland.
Yeah.
But don't always make improvements.
Yeah, and
weekly, daily, monthly, whatever it may be.
I mean, even myself, I like to think I'm leaving a mark on this place with a lot of the stuff I've done here. Most of the Speed QB field, I built, and so that's kind of a cool thing.
The shapes and figures.
Yeah, and so
now you see those figures like
across the country,
in other
countries. That's true. And then we've got that, and which I think that's really cool, and that's a little nugget that I get to keep personally to myself, and like other people.
What will happen is in years in the past, like in paintball. Guys, whoever came up with this, and there's always debates. Well, they started doing this, and yeah, exactly. Hey, remember?
Why is there plexiglass?
There's
on
a
the
lemonade
field?
stand in Madrid now, or something. Like where did that come from? Why do they call it a lemonade stand? Well, the story is, some guy in Mexico. No, that's not what happened. Was it Canada? A guy in Canada?
I'll be an urban legend. That's what you're saying.
Okay, so don't get ahead of yourself.
Again, for people who are unfamiliar with the situation, the lemonade stand is actually a plexiglass window wall that we built with pallets, and it was just a thing that I go, you know what, it would be hilarious to do, and
it's like a plexiglass wall with two supports, like an H shape,
and like if you're walking up to a lemonade stand, that's kind of like, that's what I know. I gave it that name. I don't remember. People call the plexiglass wall. There's all kinds of stuff. But it was one of those things. I'm like, all right, I have scrap pieces here. I've got an hour to kill.
Creative.
Let's throw something together. And you go, what are you doing? I'm like, I built a plexiglass. Okay, and I'm thinking it's going somewhere in the back corner. It's not gonna. Nope. You put it right in the center of Speed QB.
I want to screw the players. and what happened?
Oh my God!
They like moths to the light. They just would.
You can go
on. It's the most useless bunker.
Yeah. You can go onto the Facebook streams of Tac City Airsoft from the Speed QB days and
still
watch.
Out here. It's
in the center of House 2 and 3 right now. They've got
same
it
thing. Same thing with putting plexi in the windows.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the same effect. Andy
yesterday
was walking the field. I was talking to somebody, and I guess he played. And he said, I was like
shooting
looking
at somebody.
I was like, why isn't that guy coming out? I'm shooting that guy. And then he comes over and knocks on the. Oh man, Sonny.
Oh yeah, because I was like, we have enough scrap. Let's throw it back in the window. Let's what happens.
Play with them.
That's the fun part. That's one of the other things too that I've noticed when playing at some of the outdoor fields. I will go and play it, and then 6 months later, I will go and play it, and it's exactly the same. If I come here 6 months later,
unless the building gets torn down because of the weather or beaten down, whatever, they might just rebuild exactly the way it was, or they might just start from scratch.
And what happens is the regulars that play there every weekend, every other day,
zeroed in.
Yeah, and so they are charging the same corner. They're putting themselves in the same position. They know, and they're just going for a kill count. Which, cool, if that boost your confidence, great, but there's no challenge there. For me as a first-time person on that field, the whole challenge is seeing what's everything going. We were playing on Sunday, me and a buddy, and we bolted out of house 1 all the way to the back of a corner, and we're thinking, we've got position, great, we're holding, and he's left-handed, I'm right-handed, so we're holding down a good thing, and we're like, I don't see anybody else hit. What? How did that happen? Where did the... And we couldn't figure out where we got shot from. And we both got hit in and we're like...
Probably the same guy.
That was the worst run we had all night. What the hell happened? But it was that thing where I didn't... that corner is different than the last time I played.
It'll be different the next time. One little thing to be...
Yeah, and it'll change the whole game. And right now... The back half is much heavier than the front half, and we have those kind of options, so you can play. And even if we start in different corners, different walls, different houses, the field angles change completely of where people are going to come from, and so
you have to adapt.
I've always liked that. It's always been a cool thing. And
not a lot of fields are like that.
Again, just being able to throw my own kind of mix on some of the latest one I built was called the Doghouse. Well, that's what I'm calling it. And so that one will be the last bunker I built. Yeah, that one's got to be painted. But I think James, the person who is replacing me as a builder, will be building a couple more because we have the material to do a couple more, so that there'll be a couple more dog houses on the field, and hopefully we might see those implemented into some of these future tournament plays that you have up your sleeve, because I know there's with all the chaos that happened this year, it actually was the best opportunity for this place because it opened the door for so many other things to come in. There was a hold on this field. That's really how it came down there. There was a hold on this field, and now because that's lifted, oh man, the doors are wide open, and I'm excited because, again, I'm on the backside of this knowing what's going on. I'm not going to spill the beans or anything, but it is one of those things where I go...
Actually, I got a call back with the vendor today. They're asking, how about now? Are we ready?
Ready? And these past 6 months, I've been like, man, I'm leaving, and I want to be part of it. And so it's been, okay, there's going to be opportunities to be part of it and be...
Well, you're just an hour and a half flight
away.
So,
and so that's the cool thing. But I want to kind of switch the subject a little bit because I'm going to knock you a little bit here. You are older and you're fighting in MMA. What the like you're doing training?
No. Yeah, I'm not fighting. No, I'm not competing. I'm not. No.
You've been coming sometimes at work and you're like, "Ow, this hurts."
Yeah,
I'm like, "What are you doing? You're retired. You're supposed to be walking around a park or something."
This is all from So anytime you see stuff on me, it's usually that.
Getting in fights. But what drove you to get into MMA at this age kind of thing? And I'm not...
I want to make this very clear. I'm not fighting MMA. I'm training and like...
It's exercise, it's gym training.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's to keep up your health. I get that.
What happened was, about 3 years now?
Okay.
2 years now? Because of my time and whatever, I just wasn't feeling the same anymore. So I met a guy who's a fighter. He's also a trainer in a lot of different aspects, and so started meeting with him about 3 times a week.
Okay.
We're doing kettlebells and ropes and whatever. I just was just like, I need more. Like I get it fuels me, right? So like when I do that, I can't work out at night. Some people can either night or in the morning. Night I would be wired up.
Yeah. Morning
it wakes me up and energizes the rest of my day. So I started doing that. And then, I'm in a gym that has a lot of fighters, right? And you talk to them when they're training, doing whatever. And, I've boxed in the past. I've come from a family, of boxers, and it kind of interests me. I haven't hit the bag in a while, this and that. So we were doing some of that. And then I talked to my trainer, Mark, and I said, hey, I've never really had the interest to be like a black belt per se, like in jiu-jitsu or anything like that. But I've always been a UFC fan, and I enjoy the sport, and I watched a lot, learned a lot from just watching. And I said, but I did know the difference between sport jiu-jitsu and combat jiu-jitsu. And I said, I was thinking, if I want to learn jiu-jitsu, I don't want to learn sports jiu-jitsu. I want to learn something that I can apply like in the real world. Anything I do, I want it's the real world. So one of the guys I train with now, which is now it's kind of flipped. It's now it's like 3 days of MMA training and 1 day of kind of like, I don't want to say, I guess CrossFit kind of stuff, functional training.
Okay.
Where get creative with kettlebells and all that stuff. But and so I told him specifically, so we're always with the gloves, punching each other. I want to be put in tough positions.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, and some guys out there who can attest to this. There's nothing. I mean, it's one thing. I've been in fights where you get punched, of course, right? And that's one thing of never being punched in the face. If you haven't been punched in the face, and you actually should, just so you.
I don't want to.
No, I'm not saying you don't want to, but I mean, it's something that you should know so that if it happens again, it's not going to be jarring or shocking.
Yeah.
So because if you're in a situation where that is happening, there's probably no negotiating at that point. You cannot be out of the fight if somebody just hits your nose really hard, like your eyes watering. Oh, time out.
Yeah, no, there is no time out in real world.
It's always good for a man to at least know what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Or be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So I trained with the guys and I said, look, I want to be put in tough positions, the toughest positions, so that I know what it feels like. I want to be taken out to deep water and know this is worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
So, and I said, like, I don't want to do sport jiu-jitsu. So, meaning if we get in a position on the ground, I'll pause it a little bit. So can he bite me? Can he poke my eyes out? Can he, punch me in the groin? Where am I vulnerable in a real life situation? Because in MMA, even MMA, they have rules. You can't headbutt. You can't, certain, strikes.
Yeah.
So with that to be the end of it, I wanted to just real world training. I mean, I trained like today. All right, where are we starting? Okay, we're going to start with rear naked. So he starts off with behind my back, the choke already in, and go.
And you're like, how the hell do I get out of this?
I gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Right, because what happens if I get in that situation?
Yeah.
I can't just go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good. Let me go. Yeah.
Say he puts me to sleep, and then God knows he kills me or my girlfriend or whatever it may be. Right? Yeah. Can't be out of the fight. So, anyways, I that really keeps me intrigued and motivated because I like the what position can I get into where it's hard to get out.
It's a challenge. Right? You like the challenge.
I mean, there's times where like today, he's got me in a choke where we're solely drenched, right?
Yeah.
And I'm breathing through a sweaty shirt of another guy, right? And I'm barely breathing, but I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Right? How am I going to figure this out where most people will just tap out because uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And so what I was saying is at the beginning is that there's nothing worse, especially in the beginning when I was doing this, more demoralizing than having another grown man dominate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, imagine if a guy just throws you to the ground and fully mounts you and you can't move and he can just punch the hell out of you. That will bring you down to earth so fast.
Yeah.
And so when the first time that happened to me, I was like, I don't want that to happen ever again. Yeah. And I want to know how to be that guy.
Yeah.
And if I got in a position, how can I get out?
Yeah. And so that keeps you there.
So I like that. I've always been intrigued to that kind of stuff.
Do you ever think you might try to compete in
I've been asked
small things? I'm not saying
even like a little local tournament,
like local tournament, local kind of things.
I wouldn't say no. It doesn't really drive me. Like people ask me what color belt. I don't go for the belts. I don't know.
You're not going for
if I were to guess. No, I couldn't even guess.
Yeah.
I know I'm not a white belt.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a black belt.
Yeah. So there you go.
I don't know.
Put your own spin on it.
I train with black belts, and they choke me out probably more so than I choke them out.
I was gonna say, let's be honest here.
But I do choke them out. Yeah. So
if they watch this,
it depends on the day.
Yeah.
But if we roll 10 times, I could probably
once.
No, 3 or 4, maybe 3, maybe.
Okay. All right. I mean,
depends on the day.
Yeah, because that's pretty much daily. You're doing training, right?
Pretty much.
Daily.
We'll start off against the wall.
Yeah.
And I always try to relate to the real world, right? So if I'm in a bar and I can't get out, I'm cornered. I'm trying the guy's cussing me out, and okay, fine, I'm leaving, but I can't leave because I'm cornered. Mm-hmm. Well, it's one thing to fight, but fighting with your back against the wall, it's a whole different set of stances and way to fight.
Yeah.
Not to mention everybody and the mother watches UFC and thinks they can do. So.
Well, I mean, I watch Karate Kid. I know karate.
There's a level of some guys will do something that they saw on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
But but then beyond that, they're in trouble.
What do you do? Yeah. It's like
or same thing like in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so these guys, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you're in a bar fight. You do not want to, even though these guys want to take it to the ground. You do not want to take a fight to the ground in the middle of a bar.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know if that guy's alone. And you can be the baddest ass on the ground, and the guy comes behind you and stabs you or...
something, yeah. A bench, one of the chairs, the bar stool, anything, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just common sense.
There's bottles. We play drunken bar fight all the time on the
Most
VR.
Most of the time, they're not
there's
alone.
All those things,
there's always another drunken idiot with them.
Yeah, exactly. And so, okay,
hitting somebody knocking somebody out and their head hitting the concrete. You're going to jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And
whether that guy had a knife or not,
yeah,
doesn't matter.
It's crazy the world we live in when those little things like that can really change a whole life perspective. Because I mean, you hear these stories of someone just in a simple situation and all of a sudden their life has changed forever because of I don't want to say accident because maybe not 100%
unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and
I'd say Henry Gracie, famous Gracie family. He's got videos everywhere. He says 90% of confrontations can be avoided.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But what can you do? What do you do in that other 10%?
Yeah, and I mean,
can you defend your family? I mean, that's the main thing. That's another thing. If I'm in a restaurant by myself, I'm going to act completely different if a confrontation than if my mom's sitting next to me or my sister or my nephews.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing if you're a concealed carry guy with a gun, right?
Right.
Totally different mindset.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you, if Tim Kennedy was in a restaurant, and he's mentioned this in a restaurant in his family, and there's a threat. Totally different set decisions to be made as opposed to if he's by himself.
Yeah.
If he's by himself, he's like, I'm engaging. I'm doing this or whatever. I'm going to go on the offensive. He's got his family. I got to get them to safety. I got to protect them. I got to do the.
And that's such a crazy. It is one of those things where you just gotta like. I don't know.
I just want to have those tools in my box, in my toolbox.
I can totally agree with you there. It was funny because we were out in Utah, and I guess concealed carry is much easier to get at there. And one of the friends that's out there, she right away asked, it's like, hey, once you get here, you're getting your concealed carry license. I'm like
statewide, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want it. Like, and she's like, I already got it. It was so good.
Doesn't mean that you have to carry it all the time.
Yeah, well, she doesn't own a gun. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, she's like, but I have it, and like, if laws change and everything, I'm like,
back
okay,
off. I have a permit.
Yeah.
I don't have the gun.
I don't have the gun. I have the permit. But I sit there and go, okay, I can understand the thought process, but I also like my thought process. I'm like, I don't know if I want that responsibility put on me as well.
I would look at it this way,
and
I totally agree with that. Meaning, what about a long trip in the middle of nowhere?
So, I do carry when we're camping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also in a different situation.
But doing it here in California, you couldn't.
Yeah, on BLM land and everything, you can.
On BLM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, when we're going hiking and all this stuff, you can because of safety and everything. And that's where I'm like, I'm in a situation against a bear or a mountain lion or something. I can get that.
If I'm walking down a road trip on a lonely highway,
I mean, I'm not going down.
Again, it doesn't mean that you have to carry in because when you do, there's a great responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. And so
you better not get in road rage, whether you're a participant or otherwise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of responsibility people don't realize.
Yeah, because
your temper has to be so mellow.
I'm not looking to carry when I go to the local grocery store to pick up my fruits and vegetables for the week. And I don't mind. It's great. Someone else, if they feel that they are that confident and that responsibility, great. I don't necessarily want to have that on me. And if something were to happen,
have control of that gun for any reason, it's on me.
It's on me, and that's
take
where
it from
me, and that's where I like my thought process of just trying to make sure every like kind of situation. And it's tough because I also come from a line of where it's like I want to be prepared for everything. Like there's first aid stuff in my car. There's different kind of tools in my car for different situations.
There's nice lock boxes for cars.
Yeah, and so
it's totally safe unless somebody steals your car.
Yeah, is that right? And so I like the idea of having like the times I just carry my multi-tool around and pull that out for just the randomest things, and people look at me like, I didn't have a multi-tool. How would I have fixed this? I'm like, well, it's a $15 to $20 basic tool that carries with you. Why don't you have a multi-tool? Even if it's in your purse, just keep it. Yeah, but it's one of those things where I have the $15 Gerber multi-tool that I have has gotten me out of things that I would have never necessarily thought I would need it for. I got
tools like everywhere that I have to like, oh, I have one there, I have one here.
And so it's one of those things
same
where
with knives,
being prepared, I can appreciate that. I don't know if I want to be prepared to do something.
But it's great to have that choice, though.
Maybe, yeah.
And so we don't have that choice.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand.
Just give me the choice.
And that might be where my when I get out to Utah, it might be my mental state that I go, you know what? It is a choice, and I do want to at least have this paper to say that I can.
You know what I'm getting? Again, I don't have a concealed carry yet, because I am in Orange County, so I have a better shot.
Yeah.
Well, at least now. I don't know if hopefully that's another thing I think about when I'm moving. It's like moving to LA County. Oh crap.
Yeah. Oh crap. All this
that's
stuff
the downside,
changes.
right? But
and like it's a block of like a line that you're on this side of LA, you're on this side of Orange County.
But if
and
you
that
have a
screws
concealed carry, it probably would change your mindset in a lot of different ways.
Maybe
knowing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
I'm not saying you're an aggressive guy, but I'm saying it should like. Your awareness will be on a different level.
It's true. Very true. Because you'd have to be. Because that's one of the things when we lost my last dog. He was a Siberian Husky and 120 pound Siberian Husky, very big dog. And we brought him back from the from the vet after getting told that he was going to probably need an MRI and this other stuff. $2,000 something that we were going to have to. I'm like, let's bring him home. Let's figure this out. And we ended up losing him that same day. But when I left to work, I got a call saying, hey, Whiskey's not responsive. And so I go, okay, I come home. My mom is in a panic. She's freaking out. Because of all the first aid training I had for the pet world, I was able to stay calm, collective, and take his pulse and see he was still breathing, all these things. I was able to remember all the training of putting something underneath him, getting him, because 120 pound dog, I'm not picking up and putting in the back of my car kind of thing. But we were able to get like blanket, roll him over, do all this stuff, and still unresponsive. And I was back in the seat while they were driving here, and I was driving and I was telling them, "Are you look for this?" And we were able to get him to the vet. Unfortunately, we did lose him that day, and he made it to the vet, and we were able to say, you know what, we're going to choose to put him down because at this point, it does not make sense for him to keep suffering.
It's quality of life.
Yeah, but it was I felt very, very comfortable in that situation and confident, and when after the whole process, I can look back and go, you know what? I know how I reacted in that situation because I had the training.
I was prepared.
And so the same thing, and we've talked about it all the time on our other shows and everything. Training and going through courses and doing is so much better and makes you feel that much more confident if you ever run into a situation. So I know if I actually did get a concealed carry license in that sense, I would be on a weekly probably going to some kind of like training, whether it be just in a classroom or out on a range or something.
Maintain that proficiency.
Yeah, because that I am a very big advocate for education on the oddball of stuff. I'm not saying go to college, go to school, go to that. Fine, that's great.
Just
but
some kind of knowledge.
Learn, continue to learn, continue to educate yourself. Like the amount of like things. You'll ask me something, I go, I don't know. Hold on, and I'll like 2 days later, hey, this, and this, because like I like knowing things that who knows, I might use it, I might not, but if I have that knowledge there, that instant that it might be needed, I can feel a little bit more confident in that situation. I never want to be in a situation of a shooting environment or anything like that, but I've explained this to my girlfriend's mom, who's a vice principal, or fiance's mom. Still weird, because she's a vice principal, and we're like, you just need to go take a gun safety course, because if you're out in some kind of screwed up situation and there's a gun lying there,
that's
you need to have the confidence to pick that.
Buy a gun, carry a gun, but know the mechanics.
Knowing how to disarm that gun and make sure that it has nothing in the chamber and everything would be a whole step above a lot of other people. And then it would give you that confidence moving forward that this is disarmed and safe in whatever kind of situation. Or, in a weird twist of things, you have something now to protect yourself by chance.
I was just thinking while you were saying that, like a weird kind of analogy. Like, what if you were in a room that had all these screws on this door, and the only way to get through the door is you had to unscrew it, and you had a power tool to unscrew them, but you don't know how to work a power tool.
Right?
But you've seen one before. You've seen you operate one day years ago. Now remember, right? You're not walking around you're not going to be using a power tool. You don't own a power tool. Yeah. You don't use it on a daily basis, but you had some, you've seen one, oh, this is where you do this, the bit, blah, 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 to get out.
The amount of times
it doesn't take much.
I have had a friend come over and we're doing some kind of build or some kind of construction or something, and they have no clue how to use, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I should have properly given you the rundown. I assume, just because the way I was raised, everyone was raised with the knowledge of how to use a power drill kind of thing. But it's one of those situations where...
It's not that complicated, but you've been exposed to it, fine, now I get it.
I mean, I've purchased multiple tools that I have no idea how to use, but I will figure it out, because it's like, okay, I'm going to buy this tool and I'm going to appreciate this tool for what it is, and then, oh my God, it made my life so much easier. Now, like, wow, that's not as hard to learn how to use a tool. And then the more you use it, the more you become proficient with it, and you know these little tricks and these little things that go...
The fastest way to be...
Yeah, and then I'm like... And
in what order,
That's what I will appreciate about... I don't want to knock it by saying general labor, but like... People who are in services like plumbing or contractors or things like that, like, they are doing so much stuff that, like, majority of the world does not know how to do, and it is very, very, like, I used to work at a old folks home doing the handyman service for over 400 units, and the little things that I learned just from being on the front lines of that kind of stuff, I think
some of the experience that was in that room or in that building.
And then there's things where, like, I go, oh man, people the same age as me don't know how to do this, and I'm like, I'll give
you an example. And you typically see this more like maybe in the older crowd, like say a widow who's an older and her husband just passed away or whatever.
Yeah.
Pumping gas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know how many women don't know how to pump? I mean, maybe even some men, but I'm gonna guess there's probably more women.
But they know how to plug in their Prius though.
Yeah. Or have you seen have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Of, I hate to say it's women, but the ones that I've seen have been women, and I'm sure there's some guys too that have no idea the way around a car, trying to put like oil in the car, and they put it like in the windshield wiper reservoir. No. All these really weird. Oh, no. Have you seen that?
No.
I've even seen one. I attempt to think that it was a fake, but I don't know. It looked pretty real. This one lady goes to the car wash, the stalls. Has her hood open. And she's putting soap and whatever, and she's brushing it down. She's like wetting down the whole open engine compartment, right? With
everything,
like just like, oh my God.
You're like, what are you doing?
Good luck getting that out of there.
Yeah, I have an aunt who doesn't pump gas as often. Like, she knows how to, but her husband is the one who does.
Right.
And there are times where she'll wait till he comes home and then he'll take the car and pump.
But there's still things like that, like especially like when like the older school kind of where the husband. There's something to the old fashioned, like, you know, roles, right?
Yeah.
Like he handles this, she handles this. I mean, a lot of that is blurred or switches, and there's nothing wrong with that. But some of the older crowd where I've never handled that before because he took care of that.
Yeah.
Or she dies and I've never cooked for myself because she already handled that. Or I don't know how to do that. Or
like for me, like I think just because when I was younger, my mom was in the hospital a lot with a bunch of medical conditions. So I was, I think, about 7 when a lot of the stuff started happening, and it was. Dad was taking her to the middle of the night emergency, and it's like,
you had to fend for yourself.
I had to fend for me and then my brother, and so we had to cook, we had to do laundry. I know people who still don't know how to do laundry, and I'm like, what? You're how old and you don't know how to do?
Guess what? There's actually directions right on the lid usually too, right?
Right? It's just right there.
Yeah. How much soap? Well, look at the soap.
Look at the soap. But it is very interesting, and it is one of those things that I take for granted sometimes, that people don't live. We all don't live exactly the same way and learn all the same stuff. You don't know
what they're have been exposed to or have not been exposed to.
And I always try to like take that step back and go, you know what? I have to be considerate of those kind of things. I have to be understanding of those.
There's guys that grew up on ranches and know anything about horses. Not everybody knows how to get on a horse.
Yeah.
There's a right side on the horse. There's. I mean, I used to own a horse, so.
Oh, I thought the horse just like when you put the quarter in, it would just.
Yeah. There's some people that get too close when you walk behind a horse.
Oh, yeah. And again, those are things that, like, I don't know how I learned these things, but I think I've been exposed to enough, like, weird stuff. I think I was telling you, yeah, I'm technically a professional animal person to go film, and they throw me into the situations. You're
basically the next meal with a camera.
Yeah, with the camera.
Hey, if you live through this will be great footage.
Yeah, this will be great.
If he does it, are we covered for this?
And for me, I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, come on, I'll learn on the fly.
Have you been in a shark cage?
I've been in our shark cages.
No, but a real one?
No, I haven't. And
that's something actually on my bucket list.
I kind of want to do it too.
Not so much skydiving, but for some reason
I won't do
shark
skydiving.
cage.
No way. But the shark cage sounds so awesome.
And I do that in San Diego. And I'm gonna do it one of these days.
Yeah. I think they do one off Catalina too.
Yeah.
And so I have been one of those, like, this seems like a cool thing.
Catalina Islands have a lot of sharks that usually not like great whites usually.
No, but they're docile,
like
and then you can, yeah.
I mean, I've come across sharks like scuba diving.
Yeah.
Randomly, like one here and there. But like if you're chumming and you're going into a shark cage, I can only imagine from footage I've seen that how
crazy. Yeah.
And even then, you're not guaranteed to see a shark, even though you think you're putting blood in the water, all these dead fish, you're bound to see something. Not
100%. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because people's fear of the ocean usually, like I've talked to girls where they talk about you like the ocean? Yeah. Oh, I'm afraid. I like the ocean, but I'm afraid of it. So I always like. So what is it? Is it afraid of swimming or what's in it?
So,
drowning? Is it afraid of drowning or what's in the ocean?
I will say it is very nerve-wracking, and it still screws with me. Like at SeaWorld, when you look at the tank and you don't see anything, and all of a sudden from the depth something just like one of the big whales or whatever
it's been watching you.
Yeah, and it's like whoosh, and you're like, whoa, okay, because it's got like a weird vertigo kind of situation because you can't see a bottom in some places, and so I can definitely there are some footages of kayakers that are kayaking, and all of a sudden you see it from the depths, this giant whale, and it's
you see the shadow of it underneath them.
That definitely gives me that kind of like, whoa, okay, I don't know if I want to be.
I mean, whales obviously they could destroy you like that, but they don't.
They're not coming after you or anything.
And in a lot of cases, sharks as well.
Yeah.
Unless they feel that you're part of their food source.
It's that weird unknown because it's I think it's no different than the people like or just being afraid of the dark. It's because you don't know what's in the dark. You don't know what's in the depths of that ocean, and as in an instant something, because those things, that's their territory, they can climb so quickly and be right in front of you so quickly, and you have no way to react.
On a plane, that you can see.
And so I think I'd be okay.
You can't get ahead of it.
Like I would be like on land if I saw a lion out in front of me. I'd be like, okay, this is scary, but I have a little bit of a different situation.
Jumped in front of you or surprised you, but there's you can't get ahead of it in the ocean.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't have fear for the ocean, but I think if there was a moment in the ocean that I would be probably more hesitant would be on the surface. Getting down in it, I would feel more comfortable.
Yeah. Right? I think I'm right there with you because that surface to that
surfing, that would probably be on my mind because I know, at least for sharks, so that's usually people think about the sharks, right? Is they see a silhouette of this white that looks, there's no color, it's a silhouette and it looks like a seal.
Yep. And
right?
All of a sudden they're coming up, and then all of a sudden, and like, oh shit.
But then again, the amount of shark attacks, much less fatalities, is so minimal compared. But they're so, I
think the statistic is you are more likely to die from a toaster than you are a shark attack.
Or bee stings.
Unless that's changed, but I like how you like the numbers and everything. If you do the odds, you will die from a toaster more likely than you were to be.
And then more people die from bee stings
than sharks.
I think they said like the deadliest wildlife or whatever were bees.
Is bees because of people being allergic to bees. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. But okay. On that note, we are turning this place into a sweatbox because we're in a warehouse in the car with leather seats and everything. But we are coming to the end of the show. But Sonny, I just want to thank you for being on the show. But is there anything you want to like pitch or tell anybody? Like I know check out TacCityAirsoft.com, but anything else you got going on that they can share?
I don't think there's really anything specific to pitch. Just check our website, the new website. Courtesy of Derek. We'll be rolling out soon.
Cool.
We'll be hitting the road August 17th to Rhode Island, Extreme Airsoft.
Nice, cool.
And August 17th.
And
so it'll be my first time there.
Nice. Check it out there, Field.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I always did appreciate about, you're like, go to other fields, go play at other fields, because I've heard from other players.
It's not being an echo chamber.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard from other workers that work at other fields that they get very, very discouraged to not go play at other competitor fields. And I go, well, why is that? Like
that tells you a lot, doesn't it?
And it just seems so dumb. But
what are you afraid of?
I've always appreciated that you've been willing to go out and see what other people are doing and learn from that. You've come back to me and go, hey, I saw this at this one field. We're going to try it here. Okay, sure, why not? Let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the cool things I've appreciated. But yes, guys, again, this is a very kind of a bittersweet situation, because I do love this place a lot, and this will be the last time I will be here for a while till I make it back here. But check out Tac City. If you guys aren't familiar with it, you guys are in the Southern California area, you want to try something, whether it's Nerf, whether it's archery attack, airsoft,
VR.
We are virtual reality. Yeah, we built that cool VR room down here as well. But it's been a thing. It's been a home for me for the past almost 3 years. It's been a second family. The people that have come in here, it's been great. And I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's all because of you. If you didn't have the vision, the idea, the drive to put something like this here in this area, I would have never been here. And the majority of people out here. And because again, being behind the scenes, I see a lot of both sides and everything, and I can only appreciate it that much more, and appreciate everything that's been offered to me while I was here. And so, thank you for doing this, as well as just being a pretty cool dude.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You've been like I said, you've been a gem. I can count on one hand how many guys over the years have added far more value than the problems you caused.
So on that note, guys, thank you guys for
fired.
I'm
officially
fired.
For the last time.
For the last time,
you're fired. Now get out of here.
Thank you guys for joining us on Passenger Seat. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. I've been producer Derek. This has been Sonny from Tac City Airsoft. Thank you guys. See you guys next time.